Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to share with you 9 things that you must know about astrocartography. If you're thinking about relocating, if you're sitting there trying to watch as many videos as you can to save on money and decode or interpret your own planetary line, then I think you should watch this video because I am going to share with you a few things that probably are going to help you either interpret these things better or get you to book with someone who can help you to achieve your goals. But anyways, 9 things that you need to know about astrocartography. The first one is that planetary lines offer a broad overview. They aren't everything. Astrocartography has got simplified over the past few years by planetary lines. Sun is where you shine, Venus is where you find life, Jupiter is where you expand. These are the archetypes of the lines. This is the general archetype, the general energy of these planetary lines. It does not tell us what it means for you. For example, Jupiter. Jupiter is expansion, abundance, but expansion and abundance for what? Is it going to bring expansion and abundance when it comes to your finances, which is what a lot of people fall for? Like they think that's what it means for them, but that's not for everybody. It's expansion and abundance for maybe a lot of Scorpios, but it's going to be expansion and abundance for a Sagittarius rising or a Pisces rising. Again, this is simplified, but just know that planetary lines are not everything. It is the general archetype of what the line is. How this line is interpreted and what it means for you really does depend on your own birth chart. Okay, next thing is you do not need to be on a line to benefit from astrocartography. There are so many different reasons why I would say this, but first of all, you do not need to be exactly on a line to benefit from it, okay? You can be 100 miles, 200 miles, 300 miles, but also you could go somewhere and live somewhere, thrive somewhere where there's no lines. This could be because maybe you have a stellium of planets in your chart. Maybe your chart has a lot of like clustered planets, and so there's going to be a lot of places in the world where you have no lines, and people mistake this for like, oh, I don't have a lot of good places. Or maybe they see that their lines go through the ocean and they think, oh, well, I don't really have great options. But again, planetary lines are not everything. You can thrive in places where there is no lines. In fact, I will say for some people, based on their chart, if you have a lot of squares, a lot of conjunctions, depending on the season of life, sometimes being on no line is actually truly the best thing that you could do. Okay, which goes into my point number 3. Number 3 is that no lines are sometimes best. Truly, no lines can sometimes be the best thing based on the season of your life, based on your goal, and based on your own chart. Like I said, if you have a lot of squares, a lot of conjunctions in your chart, perhaps being away from heavy, dense energies where there's a lot going on is what's best for you. Okay, number 4 is timing. Timing matters. I cannot stress this enough. And I have learned that from experience. There's so many stories I have when it comes to timing, but let me share my latest personal story is that when I first went to Mexico the first time, I did not have a great time. And that was because it was a heavy season of my life. I was approaching my Saturn return. I was going through my mood progression. There was just a lot of dense transits. Those transits were bringing up things that I've buried, I've been running away from for 9 years. And so what do you think happened? Of course, like I did not have great time on this amazing place that is on my Jupiter line because of my season of life, the transits. And lucky for me, I did leave Mexico and went back to the UK and then did come back to Mexico. And the reason why I actually came back to Mexico because I didn't want to go to Asia. And that was also during COVID time. So I came back to Mexico because it was actually also the only place that was open, that was easily, guaranteed. This is 2021. And so Asia was still uncertain. So anyways, luckily for me, I came back to Mexico. And I say luckily because that's when I realized, damn, this is a great place. Back then, I didn't know much about astrocartography. I was following actually the general lines. And I say lucky because I went back to Mexico. And that's when I realized, shoot, hold on. This is a lot more deeper. This is a great location for me. And I'm glad I didn't cross it because my first experience. And guess what? Second time I went there, I met my husband. I started my business. I started my astrocartography business, which went really, really well. I'm someone who has enough fire in her chart and never ever thought about starting a business. I mean, the idea never even appealed to me. So yeah, this is what astrocartography could do to you. So timing is important. I'll give you another amazing experience from one of my clients. This client of mine was living on New Zealand. She loved this land. She actually knew a good chunk of astrocartography. She is in my course, astrocartography, right now. But she came to me after she couldn't figure out why she was experiencing what she was experiencing. So she was living in New Zealand. She's been living there for 3-4 years. She loved it. And then she's like, at some point, I just couldn't stand the place. I felt like I was physically getting sick. And I kid you not, just reading those sentences, I didn't even need to look at her chart. I knew, it was certain that it was a timing issue. I knew that her current location, even if it's great, was being challenged by heavy transits. And guess what? Yes, it was. So we had our session and I basically explained to her, it's an amazing line, but yes, you are in your most challenged planetary line for this season of my life. And she was so relieved that I was able to break down for her, but also that she wants to go back, that she will be able to go back to New Zealand in the future, which is what she wants. She just couldn't understand how this place that was amazing for her for 3-4 years, all of a sudden made her feel sick. And it was because of a transit. So timing, number 4, timing is truly, truly important. You guys, make sure you don't ever cross out a place because of a bad experience. Make sure that, okay, take account your bad experience, but if you're going to look at it from a astrocartography perspective, just ask the question, was it the location that was bad, or did I just go in a challenging time? Okay, number 5, relocation or relocating does not erase your challenging natal aspects. Okay, so I do astrocartography slightly differently from others, or maybe I'm just clueless, maybe there's other people who are doing it this way, but I like, with my psychological background, to understand what is going on behind just like planetary lines. And I say this because I do take into account aspects. What I have personally found is that a lot of the majority of the people who seek moving, relocating, leaving a place, and the goal that they come to me for the session is usually something that is being challenged or is one of their lessons in this lifetime. So, for example, I have a lot of women, a lot of people come to me for love. Yes, a lot of them, everybody has a better location for love life. But what I found is that when people come with me with a specific location, with a specific goal, they have this challenge in their natal chart. So a lot of those women had challenging aspects with their Venus. And I'm not saying astrocartography is not going to work with them, but you can move there, but you need to also address this natal aspect that you have. If you have Venus conjunct Uranus, a lot of my clients, I keep telling them, you say you want relationship, but you also want freedom. And they just laugh. And I'm like, it's not location. You're not really struggling with relationship. It's not that place that you're having bad luck with when it comes to dating or finding love. It's you. It's the fact that you say you want a relationship, but then when there's someone there, you're like, no, I want freedom. So which one is it? Okay, so when I do my astrocartography, when I do my readings, I do look at aspects, especially when it's linked to the goal that you have. Another example would be someone coming to me for financial success, but their finances, again, let's say the planet that rules their money is conjunct Uranus or Neptune. First thing I do is explain this to them, okay? It doesn't mean that you'll never find love, doesn't mean that you'll never make money, but understanding your natal aspects. We can also do things, we can remedy, we can help you ease up those challenging aspects. But the first thing we have to do is acknowledge this aspect. I will never send you to a place and tell you, oh yeah, this is your better love line or this is your career line, when I know there's a deeper story there. I would be scamming you. I would be like lying to you, sending you to a place, telling you Yes, you will find love here maybe more easily, but your own natal patterns are gonna catch up to you. So we have to look a little bit more deeper into our natal chart and not just, think a location is going to save us from our problems. Are there locations in the world that are going to be easier or going to heighten a specific goal? Yes, for sure. Astrocartography does work. Okay, it has changed my life. It changed a lot of people's lives, but we also have to look at ourselves. And what I personally have found is that usually the most challenging locations also reflect patterns that we are here supposed to work on. Not saying go to the most challenging line, however, that's basically what it is. Okay, next one, number 6. Some challenging lines can soften with growth. What I mean by this is that don't ever rule out a place you've been to, whether it was a good line or a bad line. Now if you got into astrocartography and you look back and be like, oh my God, I went to my Venus line and I hated it, or I went to my Saturn line. Whatever the line is, don't ever rule it out, because it could be a lot more deeper than just a line. It could be other factors in the location, but it could be what I mentioned early on, timing. Point number 4. Timing might have played a factor there. So I don't want you to ever rule out a whole planetary line or even a location because of a bad experience. When you come to my readings, for example, you are more than happy to ask me in the session, hey, can you check for me? I've been there previously and I didn't have a great experience. Can you tell me, was it the place or was it the season of my life? I'm more than happy to break that for you, but I just wanted to put that in there and just remind you that sometimes some locations ease up with growth. For example, me right now, I'm on a Mars line. If Arwa came here on her Mars line when she was young, when she was struggling with her health, when she was struggling with chronic fatigue, when she was struggling with burnout, not trying to be dramatic, but I probably would not have made it. Right? It would have been a really, really hard line to deal with. But now that Arwa have mastered, I like to think I have mastered my health. I know what I need. I know how to take care of my body. I am not sick. I'm not afraid of getting sick. I know how to heal my body. It has taken me a long time to master this because I've struggled with so many health issues growing up as a baby. And that was the whole chunk of my 20s. So I am able to deal with a Mars line right now. In fact, Mars has helped me a lot to grow my business, but this would not have been the case if I came here when I was young. And thank God I didn't move to the US when I was young, when I was struggling with all these health problems. Okay, next, number 7 is that many factors shape our location influence. Now, astrocartography, amazing, powerful, and works. But please do not just move to a place based on the lines. You have to take into account your values, the culture, the language, the visa. There are so many other factors that play a role to how a place will be compatible with you. Okay? So for example, Jupiter line for me in the UK is blessed me. It was amazing for me. I'm grateful for my British passport that I have. This is my freedom ticket. However, I would not want to live in the UK right now. Simple reason, weather. I don't like the weather. Okay, another factor could be also maybe the language, or maybe you don't align with the political views of a place. These things do matter, and in fact, I would say they matter even more than actually how good a line is for you. That's my personal opinion, because for me, my values are really important. Okay, so number 8, sometimes you do not have to move to fix your problems. Going back to my previous point when I shared about natal aspects, relocating does not erase natal aspects. I'll tell you the truth, a lot of my clients don't end up moving because I explained to them that their natal aspect is what is getting in the way of their goal, that their location is not as bad as social media has made them seem. I think astrocartography got really popular the last few years and everybody thinks the grass is greener everywhere. And yes, for some people it is, but also astrocartography is an amazing tool to know your compatibility with your current location and whether you should move or not, right? And that's how I do my readings. I never will encourage you to just pick up your stuff and move across, relocate, even if it's the next door city, because of a line, because of the pattern that I've seen. A lot of the challenges or the goals people are seeking is a natal aspects. You don't have to move. And so in this session, we will talk about things or ways that you can ease up your aspects, work on them, remediation, and so on. Also, you can make the most of local space lines, and that is the astrocartography within your city. I will do a completely different video on that in the future, the near future. But I just wanted to say sometimes you do not have to move to fix your life. You can use remote activation, you can use local space, you can remedy. The first step is awareness. How compatible are you with your current location or with the city you're looking at? What is the challenges? What are the pros? Because every place will have its challenges and pros. And what can you do to thrive in there? To me, I hope all astrocartographers look at it this way, and I hope that they are able to guide you with locations from that view. That is how I do it. Every line, every location has its pros and cons. I make you aware of both, and then match that with your goals. Can we thrive here? What can we do to thrive here? Because let's be realistic. I'm blessed that I've lived in 5 countries, but not everybody's able to move and pack their stuff. And I refuse to let astrocartography be a thing for only people who can't relocate. Astrocartography is not for picking up your stuff and moving across. It is about understanding your compatibility with the land you're standing on. So, last one is number 9. Astrocartography is not for people who only want to relocate. Adding to my previous point, this is exactly what I mean. Astrocartography is a tool of measuring your compatibility with the land you're standing on. Do not cross out astrocartography because you can't move or you don't want to move. Okay? Astrocartography is a branch of astrology that checks your compatibility, but within astrocartography, there's something called local space, which, like I said, I'll make a separate video on this, but basically it's about thriving within your city. Okay, for example, where I am here, these are my Venus Mercury lines in my apartment. I will make a video on this maybe in the future, hopefully, where I break this down, but I go on depth on this in my astrocartography course. So my Mercury Venus lines, there's a reason why I position my content or my filming station in here. You can thrive within your city. Even within your city, think about places where you love to go to and places where you feel icky. I bet you the more challenging, not so lovely lines are there where you don't want to go. And then there's also remote activation, where you channel the energy of a line even from far. There's a reason why I am wearing a sun ring. I am remediating and I'm activating my sun right now, this year, especially since I am in my sun year. Anyways, guys, I hope that was enlightening video. I hope that helped you. I hope that might have answered some of your questions. But that's it for me from this video. And let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what you want to see in future videos. And I will leave you there. See you in the next one.